Okay, hi. My name is Konrad Wojtowicz, and this is International Debate on My Politics channel. And today's topic is the idea of EU federalism, and soon young politicians from international youth parties will be able to discuss different pros and cons and potential drawbacks and benefits of this idea. And today we are honored to guest Vadim Derksen from Alternative for Germany, and Aleksander Masłowski from Federation of Young Social Democrats from Poland, and Jakub Sokołowski from Young for Liberty, also from Poland.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, not prolonging anymore with the debate, we'll start with the first question. So, do you believe that the European Union's general course is aimed at a greater federalization of the Union and its organs, and is it a good direction? And we'll start with Vadim Derksen from Alternative for Germany.
Yes, I think the goal in the course of the European Union is to form a new state, kind of States of Europe or United States of Europe, with an own constitution and own parliament, which we have already some kind of. But I don't think this is a good direction which we are heading there. Just for many reasons. I think many problems can be solved on way better on a national level than on the European level, and some problems can be need to be solved on the European level, but for this you don't need to have a super state like a new union and United States of Europe.
Okay, thank you very much. And next speaker is Aleksander Masłowski from Federation of Young Social Democrats. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Uh, I would say I would like to see the Europe going on a course to better federalization, but it isn't. And the members of the European Parliament showed us that they won't federalize at ever chance because of, for example, the best example of it was Treaty in Rome from 2004, where Western countries said no to federalization, and there is no any floor to even discuss federalization. We are having now struggle, internal struggle in European Union, and we have to fight this struggle and then think about something more. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the next speaker is Jakub Sokołowski from the Young for the Liberty.
Thank you very much. And answering this question, we should first tell ourselves what this federalization of the European Union actually is. And generally, it is a process in which the Union, by any means of this organization, is simply becoming a one state. One state with a federal structure and with one central government controlling partially autonomous states. The word partially is very important in here. If the European Union is currently interfering in the internal affairs of states, in the things that it has no right to meddle in and set its own law over the constitutional laws of specific states, then what autonomy would be left if this process went even further? With it growing and growing on every day, the EU takes away more and more independence from its member countries. For many people, this is currently invisible, but over the time, everyone will be able to see its effects. And they won't be the best. The loss of state sovereignty and many other things that will affect us very badly. At the end, I can only say that this process is not a dream of any far left Italian activists anymore. It's just a reality. It's just a reality that we should all be aware of because it won't lead to something good. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. And this concludes all the answers for the first question. So we can move to the second question about the democratic deficit. This thesis also brought up by Eurosceptics in Europe that the European Union is struggling with a democratic deficit when some or majority of different officials from the European Union are appointed not in a democratic manner. And it also used as an argument for uh, too many competences taken from the national countries and taken from the national interests. And the question is, do you believe that the European Union is really struggling with the democratic deficit? Because there also European Parliament, which is elected by the nationals in the states. So, what do you think about democratic deficit? And the first speaker is Jakub Sokołowski from the Young for the Liberty. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. The democratic deficit in the EU, it's actually a very funny topic to talk about, but we'll get to that later. So, first of all, many people may think, for example, because Fidesz rules in Hungary and law and peace in Poland, that this lack of democracy in the EU is actually present because of that reasons. Of course, we can say that this is true, and that the actions that these governments are taking are a sign of the total lack of democracy and freedom of speech in the countries concerned. But we also cannot forget that Fidesz and the Law and Justice Party did not came out of nowhere. These parties, these people were voted for by someone in the elections. If they won those elections, then a very large part of citizens want these parties to rule. And at this point, no one can call it a lack of democracy, but quite the opposite, because it only shows that there is too much democracy. In fact, the only lack of democracy we can find in the Union is at its very center, in its main bodies. The simplest examples for this are for example, the fact that in the European Parliament votes are not counted carefully, but only by a quick look of chairman, and that you can receive a punishment for your speech in European Parliament, and it can be deleted from a script because someone didn't like it. That I think is the main lack of lack of democracy in European Union, not in its member countries, but in its own center, in its own bodies. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your speech. And the second speaker answering this question will be Alexander Masłowski from Federation of Young Social Democrats. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. As my friend from the more rightish position said, European Parliament ain't a leftist dream. It ain't anybody's dream. It's rather a theater. A theater that we vote, that theater that is giving some position in European Union, but it's not giving a voice. Um, Mainly speaking, only council and commission have the rights to rule in European Union. And it's sad because we are voting for these people every 5 years, and these people cannot even say no because, for example, budget is accepted by commission, not council, not parliament. Everything at the end is accepted by the council, so we can vote, and but it ain't going for better federalization. It's only going for better bureaucracy, for more bureaucracy, not even better bureaucracy. And if we'll go with this direction, even left or right, we won't find in this solution any other solutions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And the last speaker answering this topic will be Vadim Derksen from Young Alternative.
Yeah, thank you. of course, there's a big lack of democracy in the European Union. Just remember the last elections when the biggest party, the conservative parties, had one uh, top candidate for the European Union, the Manfred Weber, and in the end, it was someone else. It was then von der Leyen. So there you could see that people actually cannot choose a person, but they run as a top candidate there and simulate some kind of choice you have there, which is not really the case. Um, and also we know that all the commissioners, they have the most part in sayings, in making the laws and so on, and the parliament itself has not the kind of function it should have or is having in democratic countries, in the of let's say Western countries. But that's, to some point, this is okay, because I don't want to have the European Union as a superstate. And if I look at it as a state, it has lacks of democracy. But if I say I don't want to have this as a state, then it's okay for me, as in this kind of position is right now. It can be even backed up more or go back to some roots we had in history when there was not this close European Union as there is right now. Maybe we could focus more on the economic issue or the security of the European Union. Um, this is something we can talk about and see some common ground with other countries, but uh, the lack of democracy is not a big issue for myself, what I see for the European Union.
Thank you very much, and that concludes the last answer to the second issue about the democratic deficit in the European Union. So we shall move to the third issue regarding the current form of the European Union, because there are, of course, several types of organization of the state. We have a centralized unitary state. We have a decentralized unitary state. We also have mild federation and federation. Also, many scholars agree that the European Union is not mm, a very common economic union. It's something else, and some even perceive European Union as a mild federation. And do you agree that the current form of the European Union can be named as such, so as the mild federation? And we shall start with the speech from Alexander Masłowski from the Federation of Young Social Democrats. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. I would like to say to you guys that I tried the federalization. I was maybe EYP or Model United Nations Moons. I was on something like that on a simulation of the European Federation, and that gave me a clear answer that um, as I said, the treaty in Rome was abolished, was declined by the member states, but it was made by the old people, like boomers of the politics. And I think when spoke to these young people, when I discussed the tons of papers and tons of laws, I talked to these people and I saw that even if I'm left, if they are right, if even somebody is center, we can find the common solution. It ain't problem, but we have to have the young, active Europeans, not only Poles, Germans, or French. We have to have clear thinking Europeans, a council, a parliament to make decision like fertilization, because There's no mild federalization. There's federalization or no federalization. Like I said, like we see it right now, Poland is giving us the answer. Oh, it's nothing. It's not union. It's nothing. It's only paper we signed, like 10 years, no, 16 years ago. It's nothing. So we have federalization or no federalization at all. We have to decide. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And the second speaker would be Vadim Derksen from Young Alternative. The floor is yours.
The question is, what exactly do you mean with the mild federalization? The thing is, as I mentioned already before, I think the European Union is having lots of saying and lots of detailed laws on how to regulate our daily life. We don't even recognize or even realize how deep the regulations of the EU are in our daily life, on one hand. On the other hand, some major questions which the EU should solve right now, it doesn't take any care of it. Let's say just the situation which you have right now in Poland with the border control. Why isn't the EU helping Poland with that? Why should Poland take action by itself? This is something which I don't understand, and this is some sort of let's say federalization that doesn't make sense, or we should discuss about it in where would we like to have it more, or where should we back the EU off of some topics. So security for me is number one, which and border control is something, and immigration is something which could handle the EU on the European level, not on the national level. And but all the details, like how should I regulate cars or environmental issues and so on, um, um, these topics be solved on the national level. And yeah, this is my point to that question.
Thank you very much. And the first speaker and last speaker answering this issue would be Jakub Sokołowski from The Young for the Liberty. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Yes, well, unfortunately, the European Union is a mild federation. I would even say that it is a just federation, not mild, it's just federation. When originally European Union was supposed to be, as I think, of course, loose international organization, it definitely no longer is. First, let's consider what the EU is actually doing lately. Namely, it set its own laws above the constitutional laws of its member countries and interfere in their internal affairs and politics. Does the Union have the right to do so? And was it originally allowed to do such things? The answer is simple. No, it cannot. Such behavior is completely outside of competences of the European Union. Is this kind of behavior typical for an international organization? No, not at all. This behavior is typical for a federation of states. And all of this is just the result of the federalization process of the Union, which, as I mentioned earlier, is proceeding very quickly. Even if the European Union was originally meant to be an international organization, it is certainly not so at the moment. Now it is just a federation of states, and it's just going in this way. It's going to become a federation of states if it's not now. I think that that is its main problem, and the reason why we should slowly separate from it, because it won't come any good from it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And this concludes the third topic in this debate. And we can move to the last issue of our discussion, which is the problem of national interests and the union interests as a whole, because some say that national interests and the union interests as a whole can be in conflict with each other. And some say that they not necessarily need to be in conflict with each other, but they can be complementary, since in the Council of the European Union we have the representatives from different national states, and the Commission and the European Parliament acts on behalf of the Union's interests. So there's still some balance between the national and the Union's issues and policy. So, in short, what do you think? Do you think that national interests and the union's interests are in conflict or are complementary? And we shall start with the speech from Vadim Derksen from Junge Alternative. The floor is yours.
I can tell you my point of view from the German perspective. And I think we have more cases of conflicts between national interests and the union interests, more than we are going complementary there. Let's say just things like the fiscal policy of the last years. German economy is very strong, and this is for the bad for the European Union, or let's say for the other states. So we have, or the European Union tries to put some balance in the economy, in the policy of the economic and monetary system. So before we had different economies which could compete. Right now we cannot compete anymore. We have to be kind of equal. So that means Germany has to go lower in the economy. We have to have high rate on, or let's say, how do you say it? Hold on, I'm missing one word here. Our economy, especially yet now in this time when the interest is very high and or let's say very low, and the inflation goes up. This is something good for countries which have high debts, and Germany is not on that level, on the international, or let's say European level, has lower debts, and now through the high inflation, it's bad for the German economy, and we have to deal with that. We have to take these steps just because for the peace, the peace in the European Union, but also some other regulations which totally destroy our economy here in the country. Another example would be also the agriculture. We have a production, or let's say standards which are here, which are way higher than in other countries or European Union countries. We have our farmers, they fit standards which no one does, but for a higher price. They cannot compete on the market. They cannot. They have problems on the European Union level, so they get funded and so on. So we have more problems being on the European Union with our own economy than we benefit from it, from my point of view right now.
Okay, thank you very much. And for the next speaker, we have Alexander Masłowski from the Federation of Young Social Democrats. The floor is yours.
Okay, I want to say this as advocate, but I will say in my just speech that German farmers are getting much bigger donations from the government, from the European Union, than Polish farmers. So I don't see why you're saying that they don't have advantage with, for example, Polish farmers. But mainly speaking about, wait, I will see for a question once again. Mainly speaking, national interests are with European Union, because bigger federalization is making us bigger. Um, it's making us bigger on international area. It's making us the third. It's putting us on the third position after the China and United States. But I would like to bring the topic of sovereignty of countries, that people. We are talking in Poland. For example, I found a really nice map. In Poland, it's showing that people are attached to a country. People in Western Europe and somewhere in Romania are attached more to region. It's good, but the second map is showing us how people are attached to European Union, and it's showing us the people that are like less daily attached to European Union are more attached to being European, are much attached to being a citizen of European Union. And these people are from Poland, Romania, Slovakia, Hungary, and Portugal. All from these countries where we hear that the government is making union weaker. We can see that people are making this union stronger, and I think it is in the mean of people, it is good to more federalization than nationalization, because it's making us bigger, faster, and quicker, especially in developing technology. And I think my friends from more rightish, as I said, side can say that it can agree with me that it's helping us progress in not only economics but also in technology and healthcare. We would like beat COVID-19 even a few months ago if we would have one only system for and the obligatory COVID-19 vaccines. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Vadim, would you like to respond to Alexander for a minute?
Just very short about agriculture. It's a big topic. I think it would go over the top to discuss it here. What's good and what's bad with the agriculture and politics on the EU level. But another thing, let's if we talk about the European Union, let's have let's say just a free trade area with secure borders, and then we can compete with China. We can compete with the also with the United States, and I think that's the way we should do it.
Thank you very much. And also we have advocem from Jakub Sokołowski from Young for the Liberty to Alexander's answer. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much. My friend from the Federation of Young Social Democrats said that the right wing in this debate would agree with him in some matters of that he mentioned. Yes, being in the European Union gives us some donation, some branches of our economic growth, but for what cost? When the normal citizens get few donations, then the government gets twice as that sanctions and taxes for mainly nothing. That's one thing. And the second thing is that getting donations from the EU and making our economy stand on those donations will effect on us, in that we in the future we won't keep on ourselves. We will be dependent from the European Union. I don't think it is good, because what is the economic development that depends on the foreign entities? Thank you very much.
Thank you. And Alexander, would you like to respond to Jakub? Yeah, the floor is yours.
Yes, I would like. I would say, really a strange example. I will give you China. Nowadays, China, they have all these provinces, Guangdong, Xinjiang, and etc. And these provinces would be more, of course, more with much better freedom. The states of the European Federation, and why I brought China here. These states are competing with each others, and there's even a ranking of the best provinces in China. And for example, Guangdong is 16th economy in the world. They are competing, they are helping each other, and they are cooperating with each other. And I think I would say, I would ask maybe after the debate, what cost? What is this cost? Because if we will say, okay, we'll now help our tradition, I will accept that. We'll promote our tradition, culture, and history. Okay, I will promote that, and I will be all for it. But because I feel like a Pole, and my heart is Polish, and it's okay to promote these. And these these quantities and etc.
Okay, thank you very much. And this concludes Antwoordem to Alexander's speech. So now we have the last answer to the last topic from Jakub Sikorski from the Young for the Liberty. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you very much. At the start, I want to say something about Alexander Masłowski answer to my Antwoordem. Yes, so very funny thing is that you said European Federation, but at the start of the whole debate, you said that European Union is definitely not going into the federalization process. That's actually very funny. But going on, I think that saying, I mean, European Union is really similar to communist China. It's actually a very strange way to prove your rights, because it's not. It's definitely not. China is one country that was one country for many time, and even though there are some provinces that might be different in culture or some other things, it's not the same. European Union countries in it were always separated and were always were in some provinces or something like that. They're always states, not provinces. But let's go to the meritum of the case. The main goal of the state is to preserve its independence and probably economic development. These things, I think, are important in the states. And if at present the European Union is gradually taking away the national sovereignty from member countries in the manner and through the actions I mentioned earlier, it's obvious that these interests are in conflict. Of course, somebody can say about this donation, about those helps to our branches of an economy. For example, Alexander Masłowski said it. But again, what is the economic development that is dependent from foreign entities? It is dependent from the European Union. I mean, if we cannot manage without the EU, it's actually very sad for us, because it's not economic development. It's just the opposite of it. So summing all up, I think that that the national interest and the European Union's interest are in conflict, and that is something obvious, and everybody can see that. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And it means that our debate today is finished. So thank you very much. We've discussed today different matters regarding the EU federalization, whether the EU is directed into federalization process, whether the national interests and the union's interests are in conflict, whether European Union is struggling with the democratic deficit, and whether the European Union can be called as a mild federation. Thank you very much for your participation today. We're honored to guest Vadim Derksen from Young Alternative. Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Alexander Masłowski from the Federation of Young Social Democrats.
Thank you for the invitation.
And Jakub Sokołowski from the Young for Liberty. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to everybody.
Thank you. Goodbye.